Chaitanya Giri, you've been writing about the Artemis Accords for some time, and explain to us, because from what I am understanding from reading your writings and reading many others, and also talking to people in government, there was a lot of skepticism initially about these accords. That somehow it was a kind of, maybe some kind of Cold War mentality. We don't know. Give us that sense of what the issues were with Artemis.
The skepticism came from our experiences in the history. Back in the days during the
Yeah.
Cold War, when the two space factions were created, the then Soviet Union, they initiated something known as the Intercosmos program, where they gathered countries from the Comecon group. They gathered some partners outside the Comecon group, especially India, France, and a few others in South America. And they had ferried some of the astronauts from these countries to their space station. So, if you remember the entire episode with our very own cosmonaut, Rakesh Sharma ji, you'll find that this was part of
Yeah.
Intercosmos, and we did not join back then the Apollo. Now, whether we have agreed to join a US-led bloc by signing Artemis, now that has to be contested, or that narrative has to be contested, because number one, back in the days when India chose to go into the intercosmos, we were just taking baby steps with our space program. None of our launch
Yeah.
vehicles had gotten the space proven tag. Satellites were just beginning to go up there in the orbits, and we were taking baby steps. We were not doing any interplanetary missions. Cut to, we come to this day, and today we find that we have a natural inclination of working with almost every country from both the blocks. And when I say both the blocks, you have the Artemis Accords and the group of countries in there who are signatories to this agreement. And then you have a challenging agreement, or a competing agreement, which is known as the International Lunar Research Station, which is initiated by China and Russia. Now, given the fact that India is part of the Security Quadrilateral at one end, and also part of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, it is very likely that we could also have the flexibility of working with both the initiatives, interplanetary exploration initiatives. Now, we have to do that because, number one, India does not want to create any acrimony of sorts while it explores outer space. Outer space exploration is in the interest of humankind. Outer space exploration is to keep the scientific spirit, and exploration per se is a humongous enterprise. It is not possible for any one country to execute it by itself. And that's the very reason that the US has now foregone its idea of doing it all alone, as it did during the Apollo. If I may give you just a brief anecdote of history, during the Apollo program in 1966, US was spending nearly 4% of its GDP on the Apollo program. Now, you can't make that kind of humongous investments over a sustained period of time. And that's the reason why
Yeah.
all the countries that are part of something known as the International Space Exploration Coordination Group, the ISCEG, they have decided that let's pool in resources, let's pool in technical, human, as well as monetary resources, and go out in outer space and reap benefits out of it. So, benefits through extraction of natural resources, benefits through creation of technology spin offs, and creating space exploration into not only a scientific enterprise but also an economic enterprise. So, there are money tags now being assigned to lunar exploration. Some estimates say that lunar exploration in the next 10-15 years could generate revenues of around $50 million or so. So, countries naturally would want to, go out in outer space with friends, with countries with whom they share technology platforms, they have certain amount of interoperability when it comes to technologies, and where people to people connect is strong. Now, unfortunately, we do not have great scientific people to people connect with the Chinese ecosystem. We have grown in isolation with each other. Uh, our relations with Russia have been headstrong.
Yeah.
The scientific cooperation has dwindled over the decades. At this point in time, it is the US with whom we share scientific cooperation, economic cooperation. There is a diaspora to diaspora linkages, and all these, sort of, comes together very well when we sign the Artemis Accords. And what I felt
Mm.
was, more than India, it was the United States that was very happy that we've joined it. So we have a lot to offer. We have a lot to give in the coming years to the Artemis initiative, and we want to be equal partners. We don't want to take dictates, and we can deliver.